And looking at the 3-day deadline or ultimatum, Mohammad Shafiqur Rahman, what is the objective by Nawaz Sharif on this pressure that he is exerting on it? I mean, is that going to determine the fate of this current government?
In a way, yes, but in a way, no, because the deadline has already been extended by another 3 days because of the killing of Governor Tasir. So now it's not 3 days, it's 6 days from now. But it's very highly unlikely that, that Gilani has the powers to remove corrupt ministers or to, put capable people on as the head of the organizations like PIE or Pakistan Railways and so on and so forth, because his list is, is a wishful thinking. Because had the government behaved in all these years or all these months, they would not have come to this tipping point. Now they have come to this tipping point, and mainstay for, failing in all this is poor governance, corruption, and no respect for rule of law, and no respect for the rulings of the Superior Court. So once you have no respect for rule of law, you cannot expect anything else to work. So I don't think that Mian Nawaz Sharif's deadline is going to, yield any results in these 6 days. And, Mian Nawaz Sharif, he's playing like, a soft opposition, and he doesn't want to derail this apple cart of democracy, so-called democracy. So anyhow, this will go on, and, this hide and seek game will carry on for a while, till this Gilani's government dies its own death.
Well, let's find out if our guest in London agrees. Dr. Valley, do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I absolutely agree. The biggest problem in Pakistan is the corruption, and government has failed to show it as a good governance, which is a fundamental need of any government to curb the corruption within the state-running institutes. But the thing I want to remind to your viewers as well, the current government came into existence due to an internationally forged contract between U.S. and its allies. We famously called between US and its allies and former assassinated our former Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto and at that time the dictator Pervez Musharraf. It was National Reconciliation Order, and it shows the artificiality of the whole contract, that it was based to curtail the needs of America's foreign interests within Pakistan, not the needs of the people itself. And it has proven itself again that it is a failed government, which is an artificial government. It has no deep-rooted connection with the society itself, and the society as a whole is deeply frustrated that they have seen that the fundamental rights of the society to right to live has been taken away from them in the form of extrajudicial killings that have been taking place every day in the form of drone attacks on the borders of Pakistan. In terms of corruption, we have seen, in terms of food inflation, we have seen. The current government has absolutely failed, and it's not just the government; it's the whole parliament that has shown its incompetency in dealing with the real issues of Pakistan.
Let me jump in to bring in our guest from Washington, Marvin Weinbaum here, because you mentioned the drone attacks, and within this context of this question, Marvin Weinbaum, Pakistan, as evident, is dealing with its internal issues. Now, isn't there a possibility of the United States, taking advantage of this to reach its own objectives? There was a mention there of increased drone attacks. Time and again, Pakistan comes out and says it's against their sovereignty, but this keeps happening. And furthermore, there's been a recent announcement, unilateral cross-border manned attacks from Afghanistan. This is the one that David Petraeus recently announced.
Well, I don't think that there's going to be anytime soon any cross-border ground attacks. In fact, that would be very ill-advised now with the government in the state that it's in. That would certainly further create problems for this government. Let me say something, though, about this government, that the idea that the government is illegitimate, I would take issue with. It was elected in a relatively free and fair election in February of 2008. What the government has been able to do with its mandate, of course, is another matter. But I think that it's a case here where the Pakistan people put their faith in the PPP and its coalition, and they may have let them down to a great extent, but it was theirs to lose here. This was an election which was not perpetrated by the United States. It was an election which the military, who we've not spoken about here at all, and what their interests are here, where the military was willing to let go on in a fashion that it had not been able to keep out of its hands out of in early elections.
Well, let's talk about the military, and I want to ask this from Muhammad Shafiq al-Rahman. I mean, where does Pakistan's military stand? Because it is said the Army Chief, General Ashfaq Parvez Kayani, is unhappy with Zardari, but not enthusiastic either about Nawaz Sharif.
Yes, actually, you see, the background is that General Musharraf actually brought real bad name to Pakistan Army by bringing it directly into the politics, and they played this army because of Musharraf played a bad game. Intelligence agencies played a bad game. They played havoc with this country. Whatever that we are facing right now in shape of drone attacks or this war on terror in Pakistan, its result, the suicide attacks, the faltering economy. All this is because of the Army's intervention into the politics. And the first casualty of Army's intervention into politics is the rule of law. And rule of law, by rule of law, I mean the Constitution as well as the other statutes of law. Once law is disturbed, that's a very, very important social fabric of any society. Once that norm is destroyed, it is very difficult to rebuild that again. And we have tried our level best, we are trying our level best, the politicians have tried their level best, but they have not been able to put it back together. That's the reason the army is reluctant to come directly into politics.
Okay,
they are playing.
Let me come in here though and ask Atif Ali, I'm sorry to jump in, because you're talking about the army's intervention into the state of affairs, but one of the role that the army has to partake in is the safety, but it seems like that goes against what they're facing, and that goes back to those drone attacks. Goes back to some of the cross-border raids that have taken place on a number of occasions, doesn't it?
Well, in terms of U.S. interests in the region, U.S. administration always trying to seek a political phase for its war on terror for last 10 years, and they have completely failed in it. And this burden has been pushed towards Pakistan Army, which has already been stretched across the western borders of Pakistan. They are already dealing with the flood effects in Pakistan. So at the end, this is the only institute that as a whole that has been left that people still ready to trust. Unfortunately, this trust has been violated on many occasions, like your guest in Islamabad has mentioned that they have overrun the constitution. But the current army chief has clearly kept him away from the main politics of Pakistan. But the question is that how long he can keep him away when the country itself is drifting toward absolute chaos. In terms of American administration, their support is towards their interest only, and whenever they think that current government is not being able to give them a political face that they will seek, they're going to easily replace it with another face. But in reality, Pakistan will remain in the same chaos.
Let me ask Marvin Weinbaum, our guest in Washington, whether he agrees.